I am Danny and I will talk about the dangers of losing wildlife and coral species in Tubbataha Reef. What is Tubbataha? It is located in the middle of the Sulu Sea, 50 kilometers southeast of Puerto Princesa. According to history, it was formed from eruption of undersea volcanoes around 15 million years ago. Considered as the richest in the Coral Triangle, which includes Indonesia and Malaysia, it is the world center of marine biodiversity. By UNESCO, it was declared as a World Heritage Site in 1993. Why is Tubbataha Reef important, you may ask? Did you know that a single square kilometer of healthy coral reef normally can generate up to 30 tons of fish annually? Supports not only marine life, but it is also considered as a breeding ground for 6 seabird species. Approximately about 300 coral species, 600 tropical species, 14 shark species, and 12 dolphin and whale species are located in the area. Tubbataha is also considered as a seeding area for regions such as Palawan, Western Visayas, and Western Mindanao. Thus, biodiversity is very rich. That's why the following are very important notes in understanding the ecosystem of the area. An example of biotic component in Tubbataha is the outbreak of crown of thorns starfish. An abiotic component is the sea surface temperature changes, causing a major bleaching in coral reef life. This shows the relationship between biotic and abiotic components, with the crown of thorns starfish propagating more because of the increase in temperature of Tubbataha. In relation to the outbreak, internal factors are ocean acidification, overfishing of natural predators, succession of coral reefs, and for external factors, north to southward wave tides, shifting of currents, and early seasonal monsoons and cyclonic floods. Tubata's ecosystem at the trophic level follows this order. Here are some species we can find in Tubbataha. Primary producers include phytoplankton. Herbivorous consumers include the brassy chub and the bicolor angelfish. The first level carnivorous consumers include the dark banded fusilier, longfin batfish, and the two-line monocle bream. The second level carnivorous consumers include the Chinese trumpet fish. The third level includes the bigfin reef squid, while the top carnivorous consumers include tiger sharks, the great barracuda, and the gray spinner dolphins. I do believe that Tubbataha is one of the last great reefs. Disturbances in Tubbataha include overfishing, early seasonal monsoons, and outbreaks of species. However, studies show that the coral triangle is relatively resilient to climate change. There are two atolls located in Tubbataha, the north and south, and have different physical features. Here are a few of important studies on Tubbataha. Biophysical indicators show that the reef health, fish biomass, and densities have improved and stabilized. Compared to its nearby reef, fish biomass has doubled since 2000. Living coral cover stabilized at 40% from 1999 to 2003 before reaching 50% in 2004. Total biomass and density averaged at 166 meters per square kilometer and 60 individuals per 100 meters square respectively, the highest since 1998. Here are four sustainable goals for Tubbataha. Climate action. Rising sea temperatures will eventually kill off marine life. Life below water. Marine biodiversity in Tubbataha is one of the last on Earth. Responsible consumption and production. Being a source of income to many regions and even neighboring countries, overfishing is one of the biggest threats in Tubbataha Reef. Lastly, peace, justice, and strong institutions for both authorities and locals, presentations or communication tools that can be used for demonstrations. All of these are important goals in order for us to sustain the life of Tubbataha. Here's an example of environmental management steps that we can do in Tubbataha. First, we should identify the problem. How can we maintain the richness of biodiversity in Tubbataha? Since there are many neighboring regions, the number of people and shipping vessels allowed within its area should be limited. Next is to draw up a plan, and then implement laws and authorities that will protect the area. Develop ongoing management that are already being implemented, and then evaluate and adjust the management to ensure progress. And lastly, we must make sure that these plans will still be helpful in the years to come. Let us do what we can to achieve these goals. So, what if depletion continues? The direct impacts include fish and coral species will not propagate, coral bleaching and outbreaks will occur more often, and an imbalanced number of producers and consumers will greatly affect the ecosystem. So, for indirect impacts, it is the decrease in supply chains for multiple regions, local and global production loss, migration of nearby residences, and lastly, long term impacts on agriculture and fisheries. Socioeconomic conditions in Tubbataha is very important. Based on a survey around the area, Cagayanans shifted to farming as their main source of livelihood, and fishing was only second. Based on their income data, they are living below. Cagayanas may just easily fall in the vicious cycle of poverty and environmental degradation. But the good news can be increasing involvement of people, especially the locals, in coastal resource management and conservation. Ecosystem services brought by the policies being implemented is that Cagayanos and commercial and Palawan fisheries follow a no-take zone. A portion of money from users' fees is allocated to the municipality of Cagayan Silio. Divers and dive operators are also asked to pay user fees. 50% are savings as a reserve fund for counterpart conservation finance. 43% goes to the Tubbataha Park Management Office to be used for park operations and maintenance. And 7% gets the local government unit of Cagayan Silio for livelihood development activities incentive to fishing in TRNP, establishment of coral reef fish sanctuaries, and information and education campaigns. Tubbataha also provides us a give and take relationship. In 2002, after the 2 year fee collection, the fee covered 41% of the core costs of the park. Because of Tubbataha's importance as larval source, fishing grounds near the area did not suffer. And through cooperative efforts, locals were provided with more sources of income, such as general merchandise stores, poultry, livestock, and seaweed production. This shows that once we give to Bataha the attention it really deserves, then we also have a chance to live a better life. It takes 5 steps for an environmental management system to be successful. First is the commitment and policy. The Republic Act 10067 or the TRNP Act provides the legal and institutional framework for enforcement in Tubataha. Next is proper planning. Once all factors are determined, significant environmental aspects must be identified, which is followed by the organization's objectives and target for Tubataha. Implementation follows. Locals can conduct research and monitor the current number of species in the reef, while those who have access to technology in the city can formulate data and provide findings about the progress Tubataha makes. Evaluation. Regular monitoring of species in Tubata is very important and dictates whether or not the efforts of locals and authorities to propagate the reef is rewarded. Lastly, review. The results of the evaluation should be reviewed by local and global authorities who are continuously working to aid the Tubataha reef. Changes determined upon reviewing can also help other marine ecosystems in the Philippines and even around the world. When the last tree has been cut down, the last fish caught, and the last river poisoned, only then will we realize that one cannot eat money. Again, I'm Danny, and thank you for listening.